the sovereign King. There indeed is none like God bless the choir. Always singing the Lord's praise.
Amen. Thank you, God.
Always have the train of the robe somewhere. They got their hands on the hem of the garment. Amen. And the same way they praised on Wednesday, that's just the way they do it. Amen. Yeah, the resurrected Christ consistent. I'm going anywhere for any show. If you don't want worship, don't invite them. Amen. Well, let's see what the Lord's going to do. Preaching takes place. It has to be by His grace and for His glory. I am not quite ready to start the book of Mark, so Gospel of Mark. So I didn't start that today. I pretty much have my introductory sermon outlined there for the book of Mark, but I like to do. I've only read through the book about 2, maybe 3 times, and I like to do that about 7 or 8 more times before I preach it. So I want Mark in me. I want Mark's gospel saturating my own heart. So the Lord wills, we'll start it on next Sunday. The Lord wills. I was with what's Sister Nubia at? There she is, right? I was with her on Friday, and our boys were at basketball camp, and I was going to start the book of Mark today. Sister Nubia said some things to me that really pricked my heart and made me think. I said, she's right. I should not start the book of Mark today. Mark's gospel. So, but there's good news. I have a word from the Lord. That's good news. That's good news. It's always good news. But God is speaking. And I have been asking you to pray for the unfolding of God's word, because preaching is not a man thing. It's a God thing. So let's stand for our responsive reading. John 12 is our text this morning. I preached this sermon in Texas, the Elder Wren's conference. Some of you chimed in on Facebook, you may have heard it. So, I know Mike Long did, so did you want to preach? I'll tell you though. But anyway, I know some guy that was sitting in there, some pastor that, I don't know how he did the Facebook Live thing. So I didn't know what's going out like that. But as long as the word of God go forth, that's a good thing for me. So anyway, and I have preached this message before, but not, I dipped my bucket again. I dipped, the well is deep. So I dipped my bucket again, and so if you think you've heard it before, you might need to think again. Mr. Well is big, okay? All right, John 12, 1 through 11. You have your programs. It's on page 6 of your programs. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus therefore came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead.
So they gave a dinner for him there. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those reclining with him at the table.
Mary therefore took a pound of expensive ointment made from pure nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume.
But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, who was about to betray him, said,
Why was this ointment not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor?
he said this, not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and having charge of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it.
Won't God's word expose the external righteousness of an internally wicked heart?
Yeah.
Watch this. Watch this next verse. Jesus said, leave her alone, so that she may keep it for the day of my burial.
For the poor you will always have in you, but you do not always have in me.
That's a profound statement, isn't it? When the large crowd of the Jews learned that Jesus was there, they came, not only on account of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead.
So the chief priests made plans to put Lazarus to death as well.
Together, brothers and sisters, because on account of him, many of the Jews were going away and believing in Jesus. The Word of God. Heavenly Father, we do thank you. I thank you for this wonderful passage. And although you used me to preach this passage before in Texas, Father God, apart from anybody I'm preaching to, I see the need for me personally to relearn it, to hear it again, to have it more in my own soul. Oh, how I desire this type of devotion to you. Will you bless me to preach this passage again? Will you bless me? Will you use me like you did before? I think of people that were so moved and touched by your word when I preached it before, coming to me, sharing with me. Oh, Father, you were just glorious before. Show yourself mighty, glorious in preaching again. I feel like D. Martin Lloyd Jones did on one occasion before his preaching. He just didn't want to go out without knowing that you were with him. Grant your servant the grace to preach. I want to know you're with me. Use me. I think of how you so took over my whole mind, body, and soul on Wednesday until I didn't even see or notice Sister Kimberly had gotten sick, and I was told people were getting up and going out with her. But Lord, you had my mind so captivated by your word until I didn't even see it. Take me again and use me again. Control me. Take control of me. Grab somebody. Grab your people with your word. Holy Spirit of the living God, put your word into hearts and cause it to bear fruit, Lord. Save in this house, Lord. God Almighty, the Savior, I pray for your saving and sanctifying grace. This is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. I entitled this message to be Devotion of a Grace-Filled Heart. The devotion of a grace-filled heart. John 12:1 actually marks a transition in John's gospel. It begins his account of Jesus' final week that concluded, of course, with the cross. The 7-day period that begins here is actually what I would deem the greatest week in all of history. 7 days of creation, of course, was great and of great significance. John takes care in recording the first 7 days of Jesus' ministry in chapter 1, verse 19 through 51. But the surpassing importance of Jesus' final week can be seen, beloved, in the fact that John devotes half of his gospel to it. And that's an emphasis actually we see reflected in the other gospels. So combining the gospels, if we combine the gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, we can actually arrange a rough chronology of Jesus' last days. On Saturday, he dined with Lazarus and his sisters. We have that here in our text. On Sunday, Jesus entered triumphantly into Jerusalem. The choir just finished singing Hosanna. That's what they said when Jesus entered triumphantly into Jerusalem on Sunday. He returned to Jerusalem on Monday, remember, cursing the barren fig tree on the way. Tuesday saw his last public preaching in Jerusalem, concluding with Jesus' retirement to the Mount of Olives, giving the Olivet Discourse to his disciples. On Wednesday, he stayed in Bethany, returning to the city on Thursday to observe the Passover with his disciples, after which he was arrested. That night and morning, Jesus was tried, and on Friday, he was crucified. How many of you know the crucifixion is not just for Easter? I need you to hear me. I find it very interesting, beloved, to observe the difference between what John records as compared with the content of the other Gospels. While Matthew, Mark, and Luke focus mainly on Jesus' public events, John writes of the private fellowship that Jesus enjoyed with his close circle of disciples. John seems to have enjoyed Jesus' intimate affection. John's gospel actually dwells on the theme of fellowship with Christ. Are you with me? So, with that said, let's make sure we set this text in its context. This is the conclusion of Jesus' public ministry that started at chapter 11, verse 1 to chapter 12, verse 50. We see in chapter 11, verses 1 through 57, we see the sixth sign that Jesus gives. Jesus says, I am, the sixth I am sign. I am the resurrection. And what did he do? He raised Lazarus from the dead. Chapter 11, verse 1 through 57. In chapter 12, verse 1 through 11, we see here the anointing of Jesus. In chapter 12, verse 12 through 19, we see the royal entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem. Then in chapter 12, verse 20 through verse 50, we see the final public statement of Jesus. Our focus this morning is on the anointing of Jesus. And in focusing on the anointing of Jesus, we will see the devotion of a grace-filled heart.
All right.
Do you want to see that this morning?
Bless your word, God. Bless your word.
I want us to see that, and as we look at that this morning, I want us to see, first of all, devotion modeled. Devotion modeled. I want us to see, the Lord wills, devotion challenged. I want us to see devotion defended. I want us to see devotion threatened. I want us to see devotion rewarded. Are you with me? And I did not add subpoints into this message because I just want to hit the main points, and I want your heart to be stuck with the Word of God and understanding the Word of God better as you think about devotion of a grace-filled heart. But let us notice first, beloved, devotion modeled. Devotion modeled. Now, we know that if you read the Gospels, you know that Jesus had been staying away from Jerusalem until the time had come for his dramatic entry into Jerusalem. But at this time, the time is drawing near. So he returns to Bethany. His coming was greeted with joy and thanksgiving over the recent event of raising Lazarus from the dead. That's something to rejoice about, isn't it? You've been raised from the dead. That's something to rejoice about, isn't it? If you heard that Jesus raised somebody else from the dead, that's something to rejoice about, isn't it? I've been raised from the dead. I was dead in sins and trespasses, but he made me alive by the sheer power of his word. If you are saved today, you've been raised from the dead. That's something to rejoice about. But to celebrate Jesus' return, according to verse 2, they gave a dinner for him there. Martha served. Lazarus was one of those reclining with him at table. This little banquet dinner here, it really gives us a lovely portrait of different believers offering different kinds of ministry to the Lord. Just think with me about it for a moment. Martha's gift was service, right? Isn't she always showing it gladly? Risen Lazarus served as a witness to the saving power of Christ. So he sat next to Jesus at the feast. But oh, Mary was known for her deep devotion to Christ. That's where we pick this up in verse 3. John recounts this concerning Mary. Mary therefore took a pound of expensive ointment made from pure nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. I'm talking about devotion model. Here we see it right here in Mary. This verse actually records one of the most beautiful scenes of the life of Jesus. Mary stands out in this verse, beloved, for her portrait of loving devotion. And she displays actually here, as we think about devotion model, I see 4 features of her devotion that stands out in the text that we should seek by God's grace, independence upon God's Spirit, as we discipline ourselves unto godliness. We should seek to emulate this type of devotion. What 4 features do we see of devotion model? First, notice Mary's devotion was courageous. Why do you say that, Pastor? Because I say that because as I look at the context and I go back to chapter 11, chapter 11 actually concluded with threatening news from the religious leaders who broadcast that if anybody knew where Jesus was, let them know so that they might arrest him. And if you fail to do this, you could become an accessory alongside of Jesus. Oh, watch this. Mary and the others openly hosted Jesus for a meal. I wish I had somebody in here. And as we learn, and we'll look at it in a moment, Lazarus was in particular danger since the rulers wanted to eliminate him as the evidence of the miracle. They don't care. Mary is courageous. These courageous disciples placed their devotion to Christ ahead of their own safety. Do I have any warriors in this house? They placed their devotion to Christ ahead of their own safety. So it was courageous. I can't camp out there, but I want you to notice secondly, Mary's devotion was costly. She took a pound of expensive ointment made from pure nard to anoint Jesus. Now let me tell you a little bit about this, all right? This would have been a bottle of perfume oil of the highest quality. Nard was a sweet-smelling perfume from a rare plant that was found only in India. Mary broke the flask, right? She broke the bottle, right? Which made it no longer usable. And she poured its full contents out on Jesus. That devil, Judas, helps us at this point. Judas claimed that it was valued at 300 denarii. That's roughly a year's wages for a working man, or tens of thousands of dollars in today's money. Have I got anybody in here? So the jar plus the ointment in it actually represented financial security to this family, particularly in the face of potential disaster. This was some expensive perfume right here of the highest quality. Now, I do not believe that Mary was a wealthy person. I believe that this jar of oil was most likely a family legacy or a unique treasure that she had acquired. Whatever the case, beloved, her devotion was such that she delighted to offer the very best she had to show her love for the Master. thinking nothing of herself. She found her great delight in giving her very best for Jesus' blessing. Have I got any warriors in this house? See, watch this. Mary's not the type of person that says, I will be devoted to Jesus as long as it doesn't cost me too much. You know, as long as I don't have to give up anything, I'll be devoted to Jesus. Well, just a side note, Jesus is worth you giving up everything. Right? She's willing to follow Jesus, watch this, without conditions and without cost. I don't care how much it costs. I don't need to lay out any conditions. I'll just follow Jesus. If you told Mary, wait a minute, Mary, oh, Mary, foxes have holes. Birds of the air have nests. But the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Guess what Mary would say? Let's go. I'm ready. Wait a minute. If you told Mary, wait a minute, Mary. You got to be willing to even love less or hate mother, father, sister, brother, and even your own life to follow me. Mary would say, oh, when do we start? Do I have anybody in here? See, Mary's gift challenges us regarding the price we're willing to pay as a disciple of Christ. Right? I was telling the men the other Sunday that discipleship is about dying. I was this past week we were discussing what it means to be a witness in our breakout sessions, and as we were discussing that, and brothers were giving great points on witnessing and being willing to go, and as I was listening to them, and God was working in my own heart and mind, and I said, you know, and there's one more thing we need to be, we need to remember about a witness. We get our English word martyr from the Greek word for witness. So one more thing we need to remember about a witness. A witness is somebody who's willing to die for Christ. A witness is not just someone that will tote their Bible around in the neighborhood and pass out tracts. A witness is somebody who has given up everything, even their very own lives, for the very cause of Christ, and they're willing to die for him. That's what a witness is. Have I got anybody in here with me? What is your most treasured possession? I gotta know, what is your most treasured possession? Maybe it's money, maybe it's her, maybe it's him, maybe it's that job, maybe, I don't know what it is. But if it's money, you need to start thinking about giving sacrificially from your treasured assets, out of love for Christ. Right? Maybe it's your lifestyle. Then maybe you should give up a lot of your recreational time for service in the church and sharing the gospel with others. Maybe it's the standard of living that you provide for your family. Well, if that's your most treasured possession, maybe you need to pray about going into full-time ministry work. Is it the self-image that worldly acceptance provides you? So you don't want to boldly identify yourself when the other Christians, well, maybe you need to examine your heart and recalculate the value of the Lord Jesus Christ. Draw near to him with costly devotion like Mary. You know, it is a blessing when we become aware of the priceless love of Christ that set us free from our need to possess people and things. Anybody here with me? If you have Jesus, you have everything. watch this, watch this, a rich young ruler came to Jesus. He was rich. I want you to underscore, a rich young ruler. And Jesus says, one thing you lack, with all that you have, with all your religious upbringing, one thing you lack. And what he lacked was Christ. He said, go sell all you have and give it to the poor. The Bible said he walked away. Because that must have followed you, Jesus. But you know what, at death, he'll take nothing with him. Watch this, if you have Jesus now, he goes with you. And you pass through death and you come out on the other side of death. Third, Mary's devotional was humble. Now, perfume was customary for special events like this. Remember, they did not have showers, hot tubs, and stuff like we have today. Bathing was infrequent in this time. The hot climate produced body odors. And Jesus was fully man, he would have had body odors just like anybody else. Right? And what would happen when people came in, the host of the house would place just a dab of oil on the head or on the face of the guest. Just a dab, just a little dab, on the face or the head, right? What's Mary doing? Jesus is reclining at the low table. His legs are extended forward, and Mary proceeded to anoint not only Jesus' head, but also his feet. And this is humility. Why do I say this? Because it was beneath people to wash the feet of others. Slaves in biblical times had rights, and one of the rights they had was they did not have to touch their master's dirty and unpleasant feet. A slave didn't have to do that. But Mary, she does not hesitate to wash and anoint Jesus' feet. What is Mary teaching us? Mary says, I'm giving up my rights. Y'all don't hear me. I'm giving up my rights before the Lord. Oh, I'm talking to some people I know that you cling to your rights. I am giving up my rights before the Lord. There is nothing he can ask for her. Touching his feet was a pledge of unconditional service. Lord, I have no rights. What do you live for? I live for you and whatever you desire of me. Now, why would Mary have this type of devotion? Well, this type of devotion comes from an awareness and an understanding of who Jesus is. This is the Lord who raised her brother from the dead. This is the Lord, the resurrection and the life. Mary here is like John the Baptist. You remember John the Baptist? Turn it back up, please. You remember John the Baptist? He saw Jesus. He said, he who is mightier than I is coming. The strap of whose sandals are not worthy to untie. You know what John meant by that? He meant that the most menial thing he might do for Jesus is actually not beneath him, but actually above him. Y'all didn't hear what I said. The most menial thing is actually not beneath me, it's actually above me. Why? Because Jesus is so glorious. So I'm not even worthy to untie the strap of his sandals. That's not beneath me, that's above me because of who's wearing them. If you're holding back from humble service to Christ, it can only mean you haven't comprehended the greatness and the grace and the glory of God in the face of Christ. Because if you know Christ, nothing for him. Hey, it's beneath you. I'm going on. Hey, it was humble, right? But one more thing about her devotion before I move on, it was extravagant. These people were amazed. They were shocked. Anointing his head amazed them enough. But you know what she did? She wiped his feet with her hair. Now, ladies, how many of you would go to Star's place, get it all done up, and turn around after you got it all done up and wipe someone's feet with your hair? Y'all don't give me good. But let's dive into the culture of the day, okay? It was scandalous for a woman in that day to unbind her hair in public. That's why they would have it up. It was scandalous. A married woman could be divorced by her husband and even stoned if she let her hair down in public. So for a woman to let her hair down, that expressed intimacy, openness, fervent love, and was normally done only in the privacy of their own home. She let her hair down. I need y'all to hear it. She let her hair down, and she starts wiping Jesus' feet with her hair. Complete surrender, devotion, holding back nothing. She knows that I'm safe letting my hair down in front of him. You're gonna go home and grab that. You're gonna be driving, it's gonna hit you by the Holy Spirit. I'm safe letting my hair down in front of him. He's my Lord, and I don't want anything standing between Christ and I. I want you to think with me on this point a little bit further. How extravagant this devotion was. A woman's hair is her glory. Paul said that really clearly. A woman's hair is her glory. So, by way of application, when Mary let her hair down, she divested herself of her own glory and declared openly that all the glory, all of the honor, and all the praise belongs to Jesus Christ alone. There's no room for self-glory. He was the one that raised Lazarus from the dead. Give him the glory. He's the one on his way to Calvary to pay a debt that he doesn't owe, because I owe a debt that I can't pay. Give him the glory. He's the one that cast 7 demons out of me. Give him the glory. He's the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. Give him the glory. See, once self-glory is out of the way, Jesus Christ becomes the chief delight of the heart.
That's right.
Where did Mary get this type of devotion? Well, all you have to do is look at, like, for example, Luke 10:39, John 11:32, right here in John 12:3. You know where Mary liked to stay when Jesus was there? Right there at his feet. She got that devotion as a disciple of Jesus right there at his feet. Watch this. He taught her that. Y'all don't hear me today. My help is here. He taught her that. And everybody that draws near to Jesus will learn from Christ through the ministry of his word to have this type of devotion to him. In fact, not only will he teach it to you, he'll enable you to carry it out. So will you leave this sermon and say, well, yeah, I see the 4 features of Mary's devotion. Okay, great, it looked good, really expositional. That was just tremendous. I don't need all that.
That's right.
My master's sitting back there.
Yes, glory.
I'm talking about Jesus right now.
That's right.
I just need a nod from him.
Yes, Lord.
That's all I need.
My God, my God.
What I want, what Jesus wants from us, is to run to the throne of grace, seek for him to work this devotion in us. Devotion model. Let me show you devotion challenged. You start being devoted to Christ, it's not easy. You're going to be challenged. I want to show you the type of people who challenges true devotion. I want to show you the type of people that challenges devotion to Christ. It's challenged, first of all, by people who devalue Christ. I know I'm right about it. Look at verse 4 and 5. Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, who he was about to betray him, said, "Why was this ointment not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor?" Here's a challenge. It's better to do practical good works instead of spending time with the Lord. We preachers sometimes hear people complain that sermons focus on the glories of Christ rather than the practical needs of their own lives. We just need practicality. Now we need Christ.
Thank you, Lord.
We need to see him. Because practically you will do nothing to his glory unless you're saturated with an understanding and a devotion to him.
Yes.
Right? Some people complain that things that can be better used for the interest of man that the church does. It shouldn't be all about exalting Christ. There are many people that echo the very opinion of Judas. Sometimes when we're talking about what could be better, instead of Christ being exalted, we don't realize that we're quoting. We're quoting Judas. William Henderson wrote this in his commentary. He said, "Judas is the type of man who has money on his mind all the while. He views everything from the aspect of monetary value."
That's right.
Right? So we focus sometimes, the church does, on big, beautiful edifices, large buildings, and there's no preaching in it. Right? Focus on trying to get more people to hear more of the nothing that we're saying. See, the critics wouldn't give this woman any praise for what she's doing. So some began to talk to themselves, according to, and I'll deal with it in Mark, but you go home and look at it. In Mark 14, verse 4 and 5, it wasn't just Judas. These people, according to Mark 14, 4 and 5, were indignant. They were hot. They were extremely angry about this. It wasn't just Judas talking. You had some critics who devalued Christ, and they were extremely angry over this. Judas was just leading with his self-righteous pride. So they questioned her motive. They questioned her action. She worshiped. They expressed anger. She worshiped. They snorted at her. She worshiped. I want you to see some things here. These people, along with Judas, they're not just demeaning the woman, they're demeaning Jesus. They were saying, to honor Christ in that way is a waste. It's not worthy of such a sacrifice of extravagant love. Don't give all your life for Jesus. Right? No, number two, some are willing to be poor in their possessions in order to be rich in devotion to Jesus. Like this woman right here. But so many others are not. The ones who are not are usually the ones criticizing those who are. Number three, the world. And sadly, many in the church will never have a problem. The world, and sadly, many in the church, the world, and sadly, many in the church will never have a problem with moderate, measured devotion to Christ.
My God. I know you're right.
As long as it's moderate, as long as it's measured, general devotion to Christ, no problem at all. You want to do the Jesus thing, sometime, no problem at all. No problem with that. The world doesn't have a problem with that. Right? But, beloved, I tell you one thing, if you really want to see the world shaking up, see, the world doesn't have a problem with too many possessions. The world doesn't have a problem with you seeking a comfortable, convenient lifestyle. If you're a Christian, they have no problem with that. The church has no problem with that, right? But walk away from a real career. You're looked at as wasting your life. Have I got any warriors here? I was talking to the federal investigator before I left the district public defender's office. I worked at the state level, he worked at the federal level. There was an opening in his office. I had worked with him on a death penalty case for over a year, so he knew that I was a dedicated investigator, and he knew that I knew what I was doing. So he was the head man in his office. He offered me the job. His name was Brian. I said, well, Brian, you have to understand something. I'm just here until I'm able to go full time into my call. He said, but Eddie, you don't understand. I know what you make here. You make good here. We're going to pay you $20,000 more a year than what you make. And I said, Brian, you don't understand. I've been called. I can't reject my calling. I ain't trying to say nothing. I'm just trying to show you a point. I can't reject my calling for $20,000 more a year. You might say, but couldn't you support your family better? No. No, I can't support my family better on $20,000 a year more. No, I can't. I can support my family better by being devoted to Christ. Oh, boy, I got to hear it. Right? See, walk away from a career and then you say, consider to be foolish. Let our children say, Mom, Dad, I want to leave. I want to leave. I want to leave home. I know I just got a degree, but I want to leave and I want to go be a missionary. Wait a minute, son. Here's what we Christians will say. Ain't no money in that.
Come on.
You can't raise a family. How are you going to live? Well, I'm just going to trust God. I'm going to trust God to provide for His work that is called. Y'all hear me? You were saying, she's crazy. He's crazy, right? Let a woman live a career to be a full-time mom. To be a full-time stay-at-home mom. Pastor, that's the dark ages you're living in. Well, motherhood is a calling. Right? Have I got any warriors in this house? See, we would be a lot like these people said, Jesus not worth all that. You're giving up too much for Christ. Why the church is so weak today? Because there's such a lack of devotion. You'll be challenged by people who devalue Christ, but you'll be challenged by people disguised as disciples of Christ. Let's get in the church for a moment. I got to go on in. You'll be challenged by people disguised as disciples of Christ. John writes, Judas said, verse 6. Judas said this, verse 6.
Judas said this. Are you in verse 6 with me? Not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and having charge of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put in it. So what you have is a hypocrite playing the role of a disciple. And watch this now. Hypocrites always challenge true devotion. They don't mind moderate devotion. They don't mind measured devotion. But when you start with that costly devotion stuff, hypocrites will challenge you. And I got any warriors in this house, right? You know what's interesting to me in that verse? Jesus knew that Judas was a thief. But he still placed Judas in charge of the money. Come on. Jesus is not, Jesus is omniscient. He knows all things. That's what it means, right? Jesus knew when he gave him charge of the money, he knew he was a thief. And he gave him charge of the money. I'm like, what's going on right there? Jesus knew he was a thief. Jesus, why in the world would you put a thief in charge of the money? Jesus says, I put him in charge to reveal his heart. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me preaching to you. I put him in charge of all the money to reveal what's going on in his heart. But furthermore, Jesus is not afraid. He's not afraid of what Judas would do by stealing the money. He's not afraid of what Judas would do by betraying him. See, Jesus is still sovereign when Judas is in charge of the money. He can place a hypocrite in a high position just to expose the hypocrisy of a hypocrite. Have I got any warriors in this house? Jesus is in charge of the last election. Have I got any warriors here? I know we got a man that tweet on if he says her, I'm going to tweet, what's wrong with yours? Right? But Jesus was in charge of the last election, and I can't help but believe because of who he is and what the Word of God teaches that he's on the throne and he's doing something. Right? But how different Mary was from Judas. Judas was offended, you know why? Because Mary was nothing like him. Y'all didn't hear that, did you? I said Judas was offended because Mary was nothing like him. So he's offended because that is the very opposite of what he is. Mary's devoted. He's a hypocrite. Right? All you can think about was the money. Mary broke her bottle to give Jesus all she had, while Judas wanted to break in the money pouch to take from Jesus. Have I got any warriors here? We should be warned if there are signs of Judas thinking in our heart, coming to church with no real devotion to Jesus. Y'all didn't hear me. I said we need to be warned. Is there Judas thinking in our heart? Do we come here with no real devotion to Jesus? Like some of you right now, or just wanting me to get finished because you don't want to hear what Jesus has to say. Do we come here just seeking contacts? Maybe boyfriend, maybe girlfriend, maybe business contacts, maybe just for the social benefits with no real devotion to Jesus. That's devotion, challenge. We'll watch this devotion defended. Verse 7 and 8, leave her alone. So that she may keep it for the day of my burial. For the poor you always have with you, but you do not always have me. Notice verse 7 and see what Jesus is saying. But first, even before you do that, I like these words. It begins, verse 7. Leave her alone.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
I'm going in.
Thank you, Lord.
He said,
Hallelujah. Thank you, God. Thank you.
leave her alone.
Thank you,
You,
Lord.
you got to understand who's saying leave her alone.
Yes.
Now, you notice, you don't hear Judas saying anything after this. He may have thought some stuff, he may have pouted, he may have had, but when Jesus said leave her alone, you got to understand who's talking here. Now, see, watch this. I can say, leave Tim alone. Then you keep messing with him. Then I have to do something on you. Because my words are not powerful enough. So I got to show you another way to leave her alone. But hey! I wish I had somebody here with me. Just by the sheer power of his word. Jesus doesn't have to lift a finger. He doesn't have to walk toward Judas. He just looks at it and says, leave her alone. Glory to God. You can be devoted to Christ because Christ is a defender. Christ is a defender. Hey, glory. Christ is a defender of his people. She's devoted to Christ and they're attacking her. But Christ says, wait a minute, leave her alone. Christ said, leave her alone. And when Christ says, leave her alone, guess what has to happen? They got to leave her alone. His very presence defended her. But watch this. He goes on to defend her biblically with his words. Doesn't he? She catered for the day of my burial. For the poor you will always have with you, but you do not always have me. And you have to notice verse 7 and see what Jesus is saying. It's clear to me that he did not mean that Mary would keep that perfume until his burial. We know he didn't mean that. She just poured it out loud. Right? Jesus is saying, let her alone. She didn't sell perfume like you wish she had. So that she could keep it for the day of my burial. So Mary's act here was actually a spontaneous outpouring of her love and devotion to Christ. It's something like Caiaphas here. You remember Caiaphas' unknowing prophecy in chapter 11, 49 through 52? Caiaphas didn't realize what he was doing or saying had deeper significance. According to Matthew 26:12, Jesus said when she poured this perfume on his body, she did it to prepare me for burial. You see that in Mark 14:8 as well. So the burial which Jesus prophetically spoke here was not the actual placing of his body in the tomb, but the anointing she had just done, which he saw as a symbol of his soon coming death and burial. Wow. There's symbolism in what Mary's doing that points to something greater. Wow. Jesus doesn't speak callously about the poor in verse 8. Don't think that. Let me tell you what he's saying. He's arguing that our concern for the problems of this world should not displace our worship of the Savior from heaven. You have the poor with you always. But at this moment, they stood on the hinge of history. Jesus will not always be with them. Salvation itself was to be secured for the people that Jesus had come to save. And since Jesus was about to die on the cross, the very best use of this oil was not for the poor, it was for the anointing of his body. Here's some application. When your devotion to Christ is challenged, look to the words of Christ for encouragement and strength. Stop calling people, talking about what they said. They may buy into what you're saying because you got a one-sided story and you come out clean as a chicken soaked in Clorox. Right? Stop calling people. Go to the Word. Lord, am I really being devoted to you? It's about your glory, your name, your kingdom, your will in my life. Can you imagine Jesus being taken, arrested? A few days later, with this smell of this expensive perfume on him. I can imagine the soldiers coming to arrest him and saying, what's that? Something smells good on this guy. I can imagine them marching him from Judgment Hall to Judgment Hall. He said, what's that? This guy smells great, man. What's that?
Yes.
I hear somebody say, that smells like pure nard. Why did this cat get that expensive stuff like that? I just imagine everywhere they went, they kept smelling Mary's devotion. Y'all come on, today. Oh, come on. They kept smelling the very fragrance of Mary's devotion because it still clung to his life. Can I give you verse 10 and 11? I'll just hit it. You see devotion challenged, right? Devotion defended, right? Devotion modeled. Devotion threatened. It's one thing to be challenged, another thing to be threatened. So the chief priests made plans. Verse 10. To put Lazarus to death as well. Because on account of him, many of the Jews were going away and believing in Jesus. Mary's devotion threatened the conscience of Judas. He knew that's what he was supposed to be like, but he wasn't. His heart wasn't changed. He was a hypocrite. But Lazarus raised threatened the hostile Jewish leaders a whole lot more. Mary's devotion offered a lasting memorial to the divine glory of Christ. But Lazarus' witness offered a memorial to the divine power of Christ. So we've got two problems. We've got a devotion that magnifies the glory of Christ. And we've got a witness that magnifies the power of Christ. We can't get both of them, so let's get the one that's going around. It's not because of what he's saying, but he's alive because of Jesus. I'm going in, right? He's alive because of Jesus. When the large crowd of the Jews, we see in verse 9, learned that Jesus was there, they came not only on account of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he raised from the dead. I can see Jesus on his way to Calvary, and I can see Jesus saying, this is my star witness. If anybody don't believe in the resurrection, here's my star witness. Lazarus is a star witness. Wait a minute, Jesus, what do you want him to say? Do you want him to talk about how good you are? What is it you want him to say? I just want him to walk with you. He don't have to say anything because his life says it all. I wish I had somebody in here. So the answer, I know we like to testify, so do I, but the answer is not in what Lazarus did for Jesus. the answer is in what Jesus did for Lazarus. Right? If we were dead in our sins and our trespasses, but we were in the graveyard of sin, weren't we? But the voice of Christ through the preaching of the word came to us. And didn't he call our name? Oh, I know we gotta go, but didn't he call our name? He can't say, "Dad, get up." Because if he said, "Dad, get up," everybody get up. But I can't speak for you, but I can speak for me. Oh, one day he said, "Hey, girl, come forth." And he said, the slavery of sin has got to unbind him. Take up your cross and follow me. Hey! Hey, glory! Is that right? And all I need to do is just live right. Follow Christ. Lazarus is a threat. We gotta kill him again. Right? We know he was dead for real. We cannot deny the fact that he's been raised. Look at him. He's living. He's moving. He's eating. And he's within 2 miles of Jerusalem. After having laid down in the grave for 4 days. He's a witness to the truth of this guy's messiahship. We haven't been able to put him to silence. So we gotta kill Lazarus. We gotta kill him again. I don't know what they think. Have you raised him once? I gotta go in. Can you raise him again? I died one time. And I was brought back from, I was brought to life from spiritual death and deadness. I ain't worried about dying again. That's why I got any warriors here. Because if he raised me one time, I know he can raise me again. Have I got any warriors? Is that good news? Is that good news? Is that good news? Glory to God. Glory to God. Ain't that good news? Can you imagine Lazarus when death came the second time? Can I use my sanctified imagination? Death came a second time. Lazarus was saying, I've already been there one time. Man, I talked to you. You said I was there 4 days, and by that time, old King James, I stink of. I was there, and I started to stink. And he stopped by my grave and called me one time. And I came out of death one time. So you can see Lazarus laying down with fever in his body and a smile on his face. Say it like an old mother in First Baptist of Avondale, Old Carter Street Baptist, as a matter of fact. Mother James, you know what I'm talking about, Jackie. Mother James used to scream out sometime when old Mother James got happy. And Mother James would say, I ain't gonna die no more. I done died one time. And Mother James would say, I ain't gonna die no more. That's Lazarus. If you face death one time, oh, can't you face it with Jesus again? But Lazarus was a good witness, wasn't he? Because people were believing. People cannot explain a resurrected life. Right? And I know you. You were just like me. Which means you were dead in sins and in trespasses, just like me. Man, I know what you used to do. I know how you used to live. Man, I know what you were all about. What's going on there?
Thank you, God.
Your life ought to be a witness.
Thank you, God.
You be threatened. I'm telling you. Jesus will reward devotion too, wasn't it? want to reward devotion.
Praise the Lord.
Amen. Oh, you're right.
Lazarus is rewarded. You know why? So I just said, you can imagine how his faith was strengthened when he was raised from the dead. He was raised from the dead. Can you imagine what it did to Lazarus' faith? Can you imagine what it did to be raised from the dead to his faith? He's raised from the dead. Lazarus has no problem. Oh, they're saying they're going to kill me. Come on up to the house of Jesus. I don't care. But Lazarus, they're going to kill you. At least don't sit next to him. No. That's the man who raised me. I'm going to sit right there next to him. But Lazarus is going to kill me. Won't be there, done that. If they kill me, if he be pleased, he'll raise me again. Lazarus was rewarded greatly by Jesus for what Jesus had done. You got to catch that, didn't you? Lazarus was rewarded greatly by Jesus for what Jesus had done. Jesus is the one who raised him, and Jesus raised him, strengthened his faith, and encouraged him. So surely Lazarus is ready to lay down his life. But you know what? Mary was rewarded. Because in verse 3 it says, the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. And saints, what greater reward could we have? That means her devotion to Jesus was a fragrance. And wherever she went, the aroma of her gift to Jesus spread.
Thank you, Lord.
What greater reward can you have in that? If we see Jesus truly in his glory and grace, and if we break the bottle of our hearts to pour out in devotion to him, then our lives will bear the fragrance of salvation, spreading gospel love and gospel mercy wherever we go. There is no greater reward than to be an instrument through which the gospel of God's grace is being spread. Mary, would you leave a hymn with us? Mary will say, yeah, I'll leave one with you. This was going on at that time, but I'll leave one with you. Came a little bit later. Mary will say, I'll leave this with you days and man. I love to hear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love to sing his word.
All right.
It sounds like music. The sweetest name on earth. And Mary would say, all you saw in John 12 is this. Oh, how I love Jesus. And she would go to 1 John and would say, you know why I love him? Because what? He first loved me. Devotion models, right? All but devotion challenged, right? All but devotion defended, right? All but devotion rewarded, right? By Christ alone. That is the devotion of a grace-filled heart. Is your heart filled with grace? Have you been blessed to be saved, to know Christ, and are continually coming to know him?
Thank you, Lord.
See, the more you draw near to Christ, the more his grace will fill your heart, the more devoted you'll be to him. Right? Anybody here with me? Do I have anybody that draws near to Christ that not just amen what I'm talking about, but you know in your experience what I'm talking about? I know about that. Hallelujah. I've got a lot of learning to do, a lot of growing to do. But I know what it means to draw near. Woo, I know what it means to draw near.